All right, so reclassification is four things. First thing, turning active income into passive income. Second thing, turning ordinary income, which is as high as 37.5%, into capital gains, which is as low as 20%. So all of a sudden, you're reclassifying your income to pay less tax. The third category, taxable income to tax-free income, which as a business owner, you have a really unique situation there, and people that are charitably inclined, you have a majorly unique situation there. And then the fourth one is where I sound super smart. Could we get someone with a British accent to say this word? Tax arbitrage, right? Tax arbitrage. It just sounds, thank you. Yeah, it just sounds twice as smart from someone with the British accent. So smug, but smart, you know? It's cool. So, no. So tax arbitrage, we'll go through that, because here's the two tax traps that most people fall victim to. Number one, deferring tax. Okay, my great-grandfather left Italy. He lived in San Giovanni in Fiore, and in 1913, he left Italy because he literally couldn't put food on the table. That's where the mob was really born, was down in that area, and they were taking a bunch of his profits, and the government was taking his profits, so he left his pregnant wife to be able to go to America and start earning money. It took him 7 years to leave the tent that he lived in and buy a home and become, of all things, a coal miner and bring his family out. Now, ironically, 1913 was the same year that the US created the Revenue Code, which was the IRS and taxing people. It was gonna be this temporary thing, by the way. It hasn't felt too temporary. But what if you defer your taxes into a future where taxes go up? Now, I can't tell you they're gonna go up. I'm just telling you, in the US alone, there's $21 trillion of debt. And typically the government raises money by taxation, not by producing goods and services, right? So what if you defer taxes and A, you're more successful in the future? If anyone's told you you're gonna be in a lower tax bracket in the future, don't listen to that. Why would you wanna have less money in the future? Stop listening to everything Ryan's teaching you if you wanna be broke in the future and have a lower tax, right? You're gonna have more taxes in the future just because of inflation alone. You're gonna have more money, and it's gonna take more money to buy the same things that it takes to buy today, which means you're gonna get hit with more taxes. So unless you're gonna have more tax deductions, I mean, Mick Jagger just had a kid recently, so I guess he can write that off on his taxes, but most of us, when we're at that age, we're not having more kids. That's a confusing lineage, by the way, because like the baby is a grandfather for someone that's, 40 years older. I can't wrap my mind around it, but. So, I think this song's true. He can't get no satisfaction, you know what I'm saying? Mainly because kids 0 to 4 are romance and sleep terrorists. Let's just face it, that's part of their nature. Love them, but yeah. Okay, so let's talk about these four pieces. Like, deferring is a problem because you might be in a higher tax bracket, and spending just in the name of saving tax doesn't make sense either. Why would you ever want to spend $1 to save 37.5 cents? I tried it once. I mean, when I was early on in my life, I just got married. My wife had this little red Infiniti car that she loved. I'm like, babe, I got a great idea. We got this big tax bill coming. What we're gonna do is we're gonna buy an SUV. She's like, we don't have any kids or we don't go to the mountains, you just work all the time. I was in the play to win methodology back then. I was like, yeah, but we're gonna get to write it off through this obscure thing called Section 179 because it's over 5,500 pounds and it's like an old farmer's rule that now we can write this off. And so we did. We bought a depreciating asset by writing it off that year and ended up spending $1 to save 37 cents. How genius was that? She didn't even want it. She was like, but isn't a car depreciated? I'm like, I'm the financial genius here, just listen, okay? I've learned to listen. So, don't just spend to save and don't just defer. Instead, use these four things. So, how do we reclassify? The type of corporation you choose absolutely matters. If you're a single member LLC, you're probably overpaying on tax. Even having a 1% partner in there makes a difference. Choosing an S election makes a difference. An S election allows you to take a reasonable salary. Reasonable isn't what you're worth, it's what someone else would be paid, and take the rest in distributions, and distributions save you up to 15.3% of tax. I got a fan here that's completely agreeing with me. Sweet, we got some good people in the room. So yeah, the S election would allow you to do that, or an S corporation, right? Or if you have like a new product coming out that isn't gonna be massive or you wanna launch things, a C corporation has lower tax on the first $50,000. So choosing that type of thing and classifying your income. Here's another example of reclassification. You all have intellectual property. Are you collapsing all your intellectual property in your one main company? Because you can separate it out into a different company and get paid in licensee fees or royalty fees and have less tax on it. That would be another example of reclassification. Or I have this isn't my normal clientele, but I have a rapper who's a client, really famous, and I made him go through the same channel as everyone else did, and he came to one of our workshops, and he was complaining about how rappers, a lot of times, they're paying for a lot of their own video production and a lot of the clothes that they buy. And I'm not sure if they wear the clothes in their videos out to everyday life, but he doesn't, okay? So he's like, yeah, my accountant says I can't write that off. And when you look in the code, it says uniforms, if they can be worn in everyday life, can't be written off. But I go, how is it that Hollywood's writing all this off? Because Hollywood's buying stuff all the time that people could wear out every day. Well, the bottom line for Hollywood is they have production companies. So as soon as he set up a production company, he can now write off all those things when he buys it through there. That's reclassification. So reclassification is a game changer. So how do we take ordinary income, which is taxed higher than capital gains? Well, by owning a business, just by doing that, the equity you build in your business, if you ever sell a part or all of that, that's capital gains. That's going to lower your taxes. Let's say you're facing a ton of risk. You can set up your own insurance company, put money in pre-tax for that company, and then if you don't have the insurance claim, you get to take that out as a capital gain. So I just want you to wrap your head around the possibilities. Candidly, I'm going to make sure you have tons of resources because I want you to make sure that you're not wasting money, that you keep a lot more of what you make. But I'm planting the seeds right now so you know what's possible.